Let's see, Marcel Chinchik and James Baldwin on the front row. It's Baldwin with a good start actually on the outside line, in towards La Source. Contact in the midfield with Darren McCormack and Moritz Lerner. As down towards turn one goes Marcel Chinchik, who will take the lead. He's too deep into the corner though. James Baldwin nearly gets alongside him. It's Rogers, Tormler and just behind them.
Oh my goodness me! That's a massive one!
Huge crash between multiple drivers. McCormack's involved with Lerner, and I think Yuri Toman as well.
Yeah, that was about 7 cars involved in all of that, so we might well just have 5 for the race lead. It certainly was. Wow, wow, wow. Here comes James Baldwin, though, to the outside of Marcel Chinchik. It could be 3 wide as well, because this could be a big turning point in the championship for the likes of Joshua Rogers. Straight around the outside for James Baldwin. That was a fantastic move.
Fantastic. James Baldwin takes the lead through Lecombe for the first time. Marcel Chinchik realises his situation. He's in the top 5 right now. That's exactly where he needs to be. There's a big gap to 7th place, and so he will be going into finalist mode as things stand. Meanwhile, further back, Bennett and Siggy are battling side by side, and Payich is getting dragged into all that as well. In the second group, we've not seen a start like that all season long.
No, certainly not. I'm going to say, to be fair, you kind of expect it in events like this where you're going to see that tough stuff. I've got to say, I think someone, I'm not sure who, but I think someone might have squeezed Moritz Lerner into the bar, into the wall.
From what I could see in that live pitch, I know it's difficult live, but someone just seemed to drive into the wall. I didn't think anyone got
maybe it was
side by side.
I think it was Lerner that was
somebody hit the wall anyway, and it caused a monumental crash. Lerner, Toman and McCormack were the ones most heavily involved. How must McCormack be at this stage now after having won 2 races, the dream start, and he's not scored a point since?
I think he's in a position where he might need a hug. And I think he's in the position where after this race, when we do have another little break, I think he'll be out of the rig, to be perfectly honest. Let's see if Enzo Benito might be able to make a move. Yanni Tourmela is the one feeling the pressure. This is the battle for 4th position. Tourmela hanging on to it at the moment. The G2 Esports driver, Enzo Benito, looking to the outside as they come down towards the chicane. The number 37 is trying to send it in, but it is going to be Yanni Tourmela. But look at this, Joshua Rogers trying to make a move in the foreground.
Marcel Chinchik is going backwards so far in this one. We know the Audi goes stronger as we go on in these races, but Josh Rogers looks to take advantage while he still can. Outside line in towards turn 1 for him. He goes right the way round. He'll get the space on the exit, and they'll run side by side down the hill.
Surely Marcel Chinchik's not going to leave this one side by side coming down towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. A lot of space being given there from Rogers just in case. He drops actually in behind Marcel Chinchik. 1 second lead for James Baldwin as they head over the crest of the hill at Raidillon. Joshua Rogers has now got the slipstream, has now got the overtake potential coming down to Lecombe.
It'll be neck and neck in towards the braking zone. Tourmela and Benito not going to get involved. I don't think Chinchik's going to be able to hold him back. I think he may have even just lifted off slightly as well. Marcel Chinchik realises his situation right now. He knows that a top 6 is good enough to get finalist mode. There's no need to be involved in this.
I think Joshua Rogers does have some fans. What if he could take a win at the legendary circuit de Spa-Francorchamps? What if he could reignite his hopes of being the first ever champion on Rennsport in ESL R1? This could be the turning point. A bit of drama has happened behind, and he is taking advantage of it. Has about a second to close down to catch James Baldwin, and trust me, there is enough time in this race.
There certainly is, with about 3/4 of a second between them. At the moment, Rogers is still 53 points away from finalist mode, so he'll take at least 3 races to get there. That's going to be a little bit worrying because as things stand, Chinchik will be there by race 5.
But remember, from this point on, if Marcel Chinchik gets into finalist mode, which, let's be honest, right now is really likely, because of where he is. He's in that top 5. He doesn't need to risk anything. To be fair, right now, he doesn't need to risk anything because he's going to be in finalist mode almost regardless inside this top 5. It doesn't matter whether he's 1st or 4th or 5th, or it doesn't matter. But remember, to win the competition, if he's in finalist mode, he has to win the race. It doesn't matter about points after that. It is only about winning and taking home 45,000 euros in that fantastic trophy behind us.
Luke Bennett getting very close to Erhan Yoski at the moment. There is the graphic on the top right just explaining that top 6 is all Marcel Chinchik needs right now. Bennett didn't decide to go for it on Erhan Yoski on that occasion. Don't forget, those two made contact in the last race in towards turn 1 on lap 1. RAG got a penalty for that, and they weren't particularly pleased. They're about to come together again.
Yeah, well, I mean, that was preemptive. They're about to come together again. Oh my goodness, you're expecting contact?
They're about to battle again.
Okay, let's go with that. We'll see if there is going to be contact on this occasion. Yujovski hanging on to that 6th position. He's 2.6 seconds off the rear end of Benito. Obviously, he was caught up, but lightly in all of that that contact. I'd love to see, I'd love to see replay again and again and again of that, because I kind of get the feeling that it's one of those things that we'll see 1,000 times and think, hang on.
Still not working out.
There's still, what has happened in here? Let's see if Bennett's going to make the move, though. I don't think he's close enough.
No, not in towards Lecombe this time. In fact, nobody is on this occasion. It's the top 9 who are really battling with each other. Lerner just off the back of that. Then there's McCormack. And if you're wondering why Yuri Toman is so far off the back, he's taken his drive-through penalty now that was due to reckless driving. I wonder whether he's been adjudged to be at fault for that lap 1 incident.
There is potential. It's reckless driving, and it was a straight drive-through as well, and it's very quick as well.
Exactly, and that's why I think it was, because it's probably the most severe penalty we've seen this weekend.
Yeah,
So,
especially when you see something like reckless driving. It's for something which is definitely over the line. There's no judgment about it. And like I think someone might have squeezed Lerner into the barrier, and I think that might have been then Yuri Toman.
You might be right. That's not what but obviously,
we had a tough angle.
When you see things live, it's hard to work out anyway, in my opinion, anyway. So, so there we are. Toman might well have been adjudged to be at fault for that one. It was certainly the most severe crash we've seen all weekend, though. We talk about the most severe penalty. It was a huge one, taking out 7 of the 12 drivers taking to the grid here for race 4. Quite remarkable, really. That we've seen so much. Toman, that's why he's so far back at the moment. At the moment, it's still James Baldwin who's leading. Then it's Josh Rogers and Marcel Chinchik, Joni Tourmala, excuse me, and Enzo Benito inside the top 5. They've still got 3 seconds over the rest of the field.
Have you ever caused a crash that's taken out half the field in your sim racing career, in air quotes? Career is very much a career in air quotes.
Caused plenty of crashes, but not with so many drivers, I don't think, no.
I've definitely absolutely wiped out half the field in one race, and it was because I didn't realise we were 3 wide. I guess it was Andy Yovsky. Sorry, mate. Whoopsie. But no, seriously, it was quite a large crash, sorry. But no, of course, this kind of level, when you've only got 12 drivers on the grid, there is that occasion where sometimes, if you do get a crash, especially coming down here, you've got like a couple of gaps in the barrier, and occasionally you can just, accidentally squeeze them into the barrier.
Marcel Chinchik getting very close to Josh Rogers. At least he was on the run down the hill towards Eau Rouge. I don't think he's had the greatest run up the hill, actually, because he's dropped back again, and don't think he's going to be able to go through either. There is over the shoulder of Marco Pejic right now, who's trying to go through on Luke Bennett. There's the look from Chinchik. There's no interest in going through, though.
No, everyone's calming down a little bit halfway through the race. Once they're halfway round this lap, still plenty of time left to go. James Baldwin holding the advantage and holding a decent advantage. He's been closed in a little bit by Joshua Rogers, but nothing too major, and it is still 5 for the race lead. Let's have a look. So a question from the chat, and again, you can all get your questions into us. Does second have to hit finalist and win, or is it over if someone wins overall?
Do you know what that means?
No, I'm just gonna explain this, but very, very quickly. Does second have to? Okay, so basically, if you hit finalist, if you're the top of the points, you get to 160 points. You go into finalist mode. We can have the entire grid technically in finalist mode. So if you're in second in the standings, again, you have to still get to 160 points. Third is that you still have to get to 160 points. And so once you're in finalist mode, then the next race you win the competition. I understand it can be a little bit confusing, but trust me, it will make more sense as we go on. But yes, effectively, it's just about, at the moment, you've got to treat the competition in 2 stages. First stage, get to 160 points. Second stage, win a race.
Absolutely, it is as simple as that, and it will be for Marcel Chinchik, you would imagine. There's a look over the shoulder of Marco Pejic as he is on the back of Luke Bennett at the moment in a bit of a red line sandwich with Luke Bennett and Kevin Siggy on either side of him.
It's a Mercedes sandwich with red line bread. I know you've said that just to try and get...
I have. Yujovski is at the front of this group in this battle for 6th place. The 4 of them will go through the final corner and go on to lap 5 absolutely together. Surely Pejic will be looking for a move soon, but Bennett at the moment is still making his life fairly difficult there. 7th place is only going to get him 6 points.
I can tell you said that just to rile me up, because as you said it, you looked over at me with this cheeky little grin. Oh my goodness me. No, if you've got something between 2 things, then it's the middle thing, sandwich.
I know.
All right?
Just annoyed you.
Just to clarify, James Baldwin leads, Joshua Rogers and then Marcel Chinchik slightly further back, but a slightly better run over the top. But I've got to say, Joni Tourmala is really getting back into the mix. I know you brought this up a bit before, but with 3 laps left to go, go. Also, how is this? When we've spoken about BOP again and again and again, yes, I know the instant at the start of the race, but what do we have at the front? We've got a Mercedes, followed by a Porsche, followed by an Audi, followed by a BMW. Hello.
Absolutely, at a really variable circuit as well that really tests loads of different kind of characteristics of these cars. You've got the high-speed corners like Pouhon and Eau Rouge and Raidillon. You've got the long Kemmel Straight, of course, to test the straight line speed, but it also gets a little bit slow and technical at some points as well. There's the hairpin at Rivage or Bruxelles or whatever you want, and the bus stop chicane as well, which is a big braking zone at the very end of the lap. It really is a very well-rounded circuit. It is still these five at the front. Benito beginning to struggle for pace. He will be finishing fifth in all likelihood, but still down in last in the standings.
Yeah. Let's see how close it's going to be coming down to that bus stop chicane. Look at the slide that Marcel Cinciic's got coming into La Fagna, just pushing it a little bit harder than the rear. Let's see if it's going to do the same thing coming into Campus. It is a little slippery coming in. I wonder if there's a little bit of overheating on the tyres maybe, or maybe it's just the way he drives. I've not seen him slide around that much. We know one person that's not sliding really, and that's James Baldwin.
I was going to say, it might well be the way that he's driving really, because he's very much... You very much have to do that. We both drove the Audi on Thursday, and you know, you're sliding around all over the place, and the best drivers especially are sort of controlling that slide. They're holding it a little bit longer. If you were in one of these cars as kind of a non-professional driver, if you're driving Rennsport for the first time maybe, you would try and rectify that slide very quickly and then sort of carry on, if you like. But these drivers are sort of intentionally holding it as long as possible, letting it go on for as long as possible, and coming out of the corners in that manner. So, you know, I don't think that's too much to worry about as far as I can see, but he's struggling a little bit. One driver who's certainly not is Josh Rogers in second, beginning to apply that pressure.
Yeah, certainly so. What would the cheers be like if he can get around James Baldwin for the race lead? That would be quite a breathtaking scenario. Two of the absolute best drivers, the drivers that have won literally just the most accolades in sim racing possible. They don't see each other too much on circuit, but James Baldwin and Joshua Rogers, if there's things that have been won on their respective platforms, it has been one. Look at this, Joshua Rogers getting close. He's going to try and go around the outside for the race lead. He's not quite close enough to try it though. It's Porsche versus Mercedes right at the front on the penultimate lap here, and Marcel Cinciic's back in the fight.
He certainly is. Josh Rogers needs to stay close over this penultimate lap and do that again, but a little bit better in the final lap as far as I can see, because that Porsche is only getting stronger as this race goes on. What really impressed me about that as well, though, was the straight line speed at the very top end from the Porsche was very, very good. And Baldwin, I think, had to defend very late, almost as if he didn't expect to be attacked on that lap.
Yeah, I mean, it did happen quite, because it was 0.3 of a second going over Raidillon.
Yeah.
By the time they got up towards Les Combes, there was absolutely nothing between the pair of them. So we'll have to wait and see if there's going to be any more repercussions for that. We've got one more lap after this. We've got one more run down into the bus stop, or two more runs down to the bus stop. We've got one more run up towards Les Combes, and that is opportunities galore for Joshua Rogers to try and take what would be a hallmark victory here this weekend for him and for Porsche Coanda. Yes, I know he won on Saturday, but this would be a big one to win on Sunday, to win something on Sunday, to start pushing himself back towards the top of the title chase. He's out wide, though, going through Stavelot.
As I mentioned, he's still more than 50 points away from finalist mode, which does come at 160 points, so that's something to watch out for. Marcel Cinciic gave it a little go into Malmedy on that occasion, forcing Rogers to defend slightly. That's allowed Joni Tumala to close in as well in the BMW. He thinks about it at the final chicane, but he won't try it. It will all happen in towards Les Combes.
Yeah, certainly so. And once again, out wide, I think James Baldwin went. He's feeling the pressure from Joshua Rogers. Up towards the source they go. There is surely going to be no fighting between the pair of them going into La Source, but it will last its way down towards Eau Rouge and Raidillon. It will last its way up towards Les Combes.
Both wide.
A little bit of a mistake, yeah, from the pair of them, but I think that might be them getting a better run down the hill as well.
Possibly, yeah. I think Baldwin was focusing braking so late there that Rogers sort of followed him, almost tunnel vision-like. Cinciic got pretty close, but I still think the Porsche Coanda driver is close enough. Over the top of Raidillon, he's a bit wild, a bit ragged there. He almost resigns himself to second, does he? He'll be in the slipstream here, but I don't think he's got the run to overtake James Baldwin at the moment. Up towards Les Combes, his best opportunity is going to be behind him very soon, and James Baldwin might be on his way to his second race win in a row.
Yeah, and looking really, really strong. All Mercs at the moment taking victories today. Could Porsche end that streak right now as we head down the hill, begin this enormous descent, going through Rivage, through X-Curve, through the likes of Pouhon, and then there is that final final opportunity down towards the bus stop chicane, where if Joshua Rogers is brave, if he is close, if he is even remotely close enough, has the slightest whiff, he has to go for it.
He absolutely does. Pouon there will go for the final time. High-speed corner, absolutely committed as much as possible in towards the camper chicane, or pit path if you like, and then Stavelot, the run towards the bus stop, that's where it's all going to happen. The commitment through Bonchemont as well is going to be quite fantastic.
I think Joshua Rogers needs to start banging his knee on more things at this pace. Goodness me, he's absolutely flying right now, but I just don't think it's going to be enough to dethrone this Mercedes at the front. James Baldwin's been almost perfect throughout this race. It's been the odd little mistake, the odd little crack, and yes, I know this group might have got fortunate by that enormous crash they had behind, but the top 5 have been perfect throughout all of this, and James Baldwin is looking to push himself even further ahead.
Well, we've seen a double race winner already here this afternoon in the second day of the ESL R1 Major in Munich, but James Baldwin is about to add his name to that list. Rogers too far away. It'll be Tourmalet and Chinchik side by side into the final chicane as well, as James Baldwin comes out the final corner to win race 4 at Spa. It's victory for the second time in 2 races for the British driver. Mercedes have their winner once again. 4 Mercedes wins indeed, with Rogers, Tourmalet and Chinchik just behind. A fantastic